ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशामि एष पुराणार्को अदुदोरितः। श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणममलं यद्वैष्णवानां प्रियं यस्मिन् पारमहंस्यम् एकम् अमलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते। तत्र ज्ञानविरागभक्तिसहितं नैष्कर्म्यम् आविष्कृतं तच्छृण्वन् सुपठन् विचारणपरो भक्त्या विमुच्य नरः। सर्ववेदान्तसारं हि श्रीभागवतम् इष्यते तद्रसामृततृप्तस्य नान्यत्र स्याद्रतिः क्वचित्। य एतत् श्रावये नित्यं यामक्षणम् अनन्यदीः श्लोकम् एकम् तदर्थं वा पादं पादार्थम् एव वा श्रद्धयान्वान् यो अनुशृणुयात् पुनाति आत्मानम् एव सः। कृष्णतुल्य भागवत विभु सर्वाश्रय प्रतिश्लोके प्रति अक्षरे नाना अर्थकया प्रेममया भागवत कृष्णेर श्री अंगा ताहा ते कहेन यथा गोप्य कृष्णेर अंगा आदि मध्य अन्त्ये भागवते ये कया विष्णु भक्ति नित्य सिद्ध अक्षय अव्यया भागवत शास्त्रे से भक्ति तत्व कहे तेनि भागवत समा को न शास्त्र नहे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। We will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17 or 18. Is it 18? Let me see. 18, 18, 18, 18. Yes, sorry. Part Prabhu joined, no. Okay, and in that, can someone say which verse were we? 22, if I'm not wrong. Yes. So then we share the screen. Sri Sukhavacha Tad Vishnuratasya Sabhadarayinayar Vacho Nisamyadritam Alpam Arthavat Sabhajayansa Nibratena Chetasa Jagada Satrayana Sarvadarshanaha. Sri Shukadev Goswami, Sri Suta Goswami said, "O great sage Shaunaka, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit speak respectfully and briefly on the topic essential to hear, Shukadev Goswami, who was well aware of everything, praised his endeavor with great pleasure and replied, Sri Sukavacha Hata Putraditi Sakra पार्ष्णिग्राहेण विष्णुना मन्युना शोकदीप्तेन ज्वलन्ति पर्यचिन्तयत्. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because of their being killed, their mother Diti, overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, contemplated as follows. कदानु भ्रातृहन्तारम् इन्द्रियारामम् उल्बनम् अक्लिन्नहृदयं पापं घातयित्वा सये सुखम्. Lord Indra, who is very much fond of sense gratification, has killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu by means of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Indra is cruel, hard-hearted, and sinful. When I will, having killed him, rest with a pacified mind, Krimi bhasma samyasid yasya sabi hitasya cha bhuta dhruk tat krite svartam Kim Veda Nirayo Yataha. When dead, the bodies of all the rulers, known as kings and great leaders, will be transformed into worms, stool, or ashes. If one enviously kills others for the protection of such a body, does he actually know the true interest of life? Certainly he does not, for if one is envious of other entities, he surely goes to hell. आशासानस्य तस्येदं ध्रुवम् उन्नत चेतसः मद शोषक इन्द्रस्य भूयाद् येन सुतहि मे. Diti thought Indra considers his body eternal, and thus he has become unrestrained. I therefore wish to have a son who can remove Indra's madness. Let me adopt some means to help me in this way. In this. इति भावेन सा भार्तुर् आचचारा सकृत्प्रियम् शुश्रूषयानुरागेण प्रश्रयेण दमेन च भक्त्या परमया राजन् मनो मनोज्ञैर्वल्गुभाषितैः मनोजग्राहभावज्ञः संसितापाङ्गवीक्षणैः. Thinking in this way, with a desire for a son to kill Indra, Diti began constantly acting to satisfy Kashyapa by her pleasing behavior. O king, Diti always carried out Kashyapa's orders very faithfully as he desired, with service, love, humility, and control, with words spoken very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and with smiles and glances at him. Diti attracted his mind and brought it under her control. एवं श्रिया जडीभूतो विद्वान् अपि मनोज्ञया बाढम् इत्याह विवशो न तच्चित्रं हि योषिति. Although Kashyapa Muni was a learned scholar, he was captivated by Diti's artificial behavior, which brought him under her control. Therefore, he assured his wife that he would fulfill her desires. Such a promise by a husband is not at all astonishing. विलोक्यैकान्तभूतानि भूतानि आदौ प्रजापतिः श्रियं चक्रे स्वदेहार्धं यया पुंसां मतिर्हृता. In the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma, the father of living entities of the universe, saw that all living entities were unattached. To increase population, he then created woman from the better half of man's body, for woman's behavior carries away a man's mind. एवं शुश्रूषितस्तात भगवान् कश्यप स्त्रिया प्रहस्य परमप्रीतो दितिम् आहाभिनन्द्य च. O my dear one, the most powerful sage Kashyapa, being extremely pleased by the mild behavior of his wife Diti, smiled and spoke to her as follows. Sri Kashyapuvacha varam varaya moru प्रीतस्ते अहम अनिंदिते स्त्रिया भर्तरि सुप्रीते कः काम इह चागमः. Kashyapa Muni said, O beautiful woman, O reproachable lady, or O irreproachable lady, since I am very much pleased by your behavior, you may ask me for any benediction you want. If a husband is pleased, what desires are difficult for his wife to obtain, either in this world or in the next? पतेरेव हि नारीणां दैवतं परमं स्मृतं मानसः सर्वभूतानां वासुदेव श्रियः पतिः स एव देवतालिङ्गे नामरूपविकल्पितैः युज्यते भगवान् पुंभिर्स्त्रीभिश्च पतिरूपधृक्. A husband is the supreme demigod for a woman. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vasudeva, the husband of Goddess of Fortune, is situated in everyone's heart and is worshipped through various names and forms of the demigods by fruit workers. Similarly, a husband represents the Lord as the object of worship for a woman. तस्मात् पतिव्रता नार्यः श्रेयस्कामा समध्यमे yajante ananya bhavena patim atmanam ishwaram. My dear wife, whose body is so beautiful, your waist being thin, a conscientious wife should be chaste and should abide by the orders of her husband. She should very devoutly worship her husband as a representative of Vasudeva. Soham tvaya bhadre idrak bhavena bhaktitah tam te sampadaye kamam asatinam sudurlabham. My dear gentle wife, because you have worshipped me with great devotion, considering me a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I shall reward you by fulfilling your desires, which are unobtainable by an unchaste wife. Ditiruvacha Varado Yadime Brahman Putram Indrahanam Vrine Amrut Amrutyam uh, Amrutyam Mrita Putraham Yena me Gatito Suto. Diti replied, O my husband, O great soul, I have now lost my sons. If you want to give me a benediction, I ask you for an immortal son who will kill Indra. I pray for this because Indra, with the help of Vishnu, has killed my two sons Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. निशम्य तद्वचो विप्रो विमनः पर्यतप्यत अहो अधर्म सुमहान अध्य मे समुपस्थितः. Upon hearing Diti's request, Kashyapa Muni was very much aggrieved. Alas, he lamented, now I face the danger of impious act of killing Indra. Aho attendriyaramo yoshinmayeha mayaya grihita chetasa kripanaha patisye narake dhruvam. Kashyapa Muni thought, alas, I have now become too attached to material enjoyment. Taking advantage of this, my mind has been attracted by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a woman, my wife. Therefore, I am surely a wretched person who will glide down toward hell. Kotikramo anuvartantyaha स्वभावम् इह योषितः धिन्मान् बता बुधं स्वार्थे यदहं त्व अचितेन्द्रियः. This woman, my wife, has adopted a means that follows her nature, and therefore she is not to be blamed. But I am a man, therefore all condemnation upon me. I am not at all conversant with what is good for me, since I could not control my senses. शरत्पद्मोत्सवं वक्त्रं वचश्च श्रवणामृतं हृदयं क्षुरधाराभ्यां दाराभं स्त्रीणां को वेदचेष्टितम्. A woman's face is as attractive and beautiful as a blossoming lotus flower during autumn. Her words are very sweet and they give pleasure to the ear. But if we study a woman's heart, we can understand it to be extremely sharp like the blade of a razor. In these circumstances, who could understand the dealings of a woman? नहि कश्चित् नहि नहि कश्चित् प्रियः स्त्रीणाम् अजसा स्वाशिषात्मनां पतिं पुत्रं भ्रातरं वा घ्नन्ति अर्थे घातयन्ति च. To satisfy their own interests, women deal with men as if the men were most dear to them, but no one is actually dear to them. Women are supposed to be very saintly, but for their own interests, they can kill even their husbands, sons, or brothers, or cause them to be killed by others. प्रतिश्रुतं दधामीति वचस्तन्न मृषा भवेत् वदं नार्हति चेन्द्रोऽपि तत्रेदम् उपकल्पते. I promised to give her a benediction, and this promise cannot be violated. But Indra does not deserve to be killed. In these circumstances, the solution I have is quite suitable. इति सञ्चिन्त्य भगवान् मारीच कुरुनन्दन उवाच किञ्चित् कुपित आत्मानं च विग्रहम्. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Kashyapa Muni thinking in this way became somewhat angry, condemning himself. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of Kuru, he spoke to Diti as follows. Shri Kashyapuvacha Putraste Bhavita Badre Indraha Deva Bandavaha Samvatsaram Vratam Idam Yadyanjo Dharayishyasi. Kashyapa Muni said, my dear gentle wife, if you follow my instructions regarding this vow of for at least 1 year, you will surely get a son who will be able to kill Indra. However, if you deviate from this vow of following the Vaishnava principles, you will get a son who will be favorable to Indra. Ditiruvacha Dharayishye Vratam Brahman Bruhi Karyani Yani Me Yani Cheha Nishiddhani Na Vratam Ghrannanti Yani Utta. Diti replied, my dear Brahmana, I must accept your advice and follow the vow. Now let me understand what I have to do, what is forbidden and what will not break the vow. Please clearly state all this to me. Shri Kashyapuvacha Na himsyad bhutajatani na sapen nantram vadet na chindyan nakha romani न स्पृशेद यद amangalam. Kashyapa Muni said, my dear wife, to follow this vow, do not be violent or cause harm to anyone. Do not curse anyone and do not speak lies. Do not cut your nails and hair and do not touch impure things like skulls and bones. Napsusnayan na kupyeta na sambhasheta durjanaihi navasita dauta vasaha srijam cha vidrutam kvachet. Kashyapa Muni continued, my dear gentle wife, never enter the water while bathing, never be angry, and do not even speak or associate with wicked people. Never wear clothes that have not been properly washed, and do not put on a garland that has already been worn. Nochishtam chandikanam cha samisham vrishalahritam bunjitopadakya drishtam pibennanjalina tva apaha. Never eat leftover food, never eat prasada offered to goddess Kali, and do not eat anything contaminated by flesh of fish. Do not eat anything brought or touched by a Shudra, nor anything seen by a woman in her menstrual period. Do not drink water by joining your palms. No chista sprishta salila sandhyaya mukta murdhaja anarchita samyata vak nasam vita bahischaret. After eating, you should not go out to the street without having washed your mouth, hands, and feet. You should not go out in the evening or with your hair loose, nor should you go out unless you are properly decorated with ornaments. You should not leave the house unless you are very grave and are sufficiently covered. Na nadhauta pada prayata sorry नादौत पादा प्रयता नाद्र पादा उदक्सिराः शयीत नापरान्नान्यैर् न नग्ना न च सन्ध्ययोः. You should not lie down without having washed both of your feet or without being purified, nor with wet feet or with your head pointed west or north. You should not lie naked or with other women or during sunrise or sunset. Dautavasa Shuchir Nityam Sarvamangala Samyuta Pujayet Pratarasat Prag Govipran Shriyam Achyutam. Putting on washed clothing, being always pure and being adorned with turmeric, sandalwood pulp, and other auspicious items before breakfast, one should worship the cows the Brahmana, the goddess of fortune, and the supreme personality of Godhead. Striyo Viravatischa Chet Chet. स्रग्गन्ध बलिमण्ड मण्डनैः पतिं चाच्योपतिष्ठेत ध्यायेत् कोष्ठगत गतं च तम् with flower garlands, sandalwood pulp, ornaments, and other paraphernalia. A woman following this vow should worship women who have sons and whose husbands are living. The pregnant wife should worship her husband and offer him prayers. She should meditate upon him, thinking that he is situated in her womb. Samvatsaram pumsavanam vritam etad aviplutam dharayishyasi chetubhyam shakraha bhavita sutaha. Kashyapa Muni continued. If you perform this ceremony called Pumsavana, adhering to the vow with faith for at least 1 year, you will give birth to a son destined to kill Indra. But if there is any discrepancy in discharge of this vow, the son will be a friend to Indra. बाढ़म् इति अभ्युपेत्यातं दिति राजन् महामनः महामनाः कश्यपात् गर्भम् आधत sorry कश्यपात् गर्भम् आदत्त पृतं चान्यो दधार सा. O king Parikshit, Diti, the wife of Kashyapa, agreed to undergo the purificatory process known as Pumsavana. Yes, she said, I shall do everything according to your instructions. With great jubilation, she became pregnant, having taken semen from Kashyapa and faithfully began discharging the vow. मातृस्वसुर अभिप्रायम् इन्द्र आज्ञाय मानदा शुश्रूषणेनाश्रमस्थां दितिं पर्यचरत् कविः. O king, who are respectful to everyone, Indra understood Diti's purpose, and thus he contrived to fulfill his own interests. Sorry. Following the logic that self preservation is the first law of nature, he wanted to break Diti's promise. Thus, he engaged himself in the service of Diti, his aunt, who was residing in an ashrama. Nityam vanat sumanasaha phalamula samitkushan patrankura mrudopascha kale kala upaharat. Indra served his aunt daily by bringing flowers, fruits, roots, and wood for yajnas from the forest. He also brought kusha grass, leaves, sprouts, earth, and water exactly at the proper time. Evam tasya vratastaya vrata chidram harirnrupa prepshu paryacharad jihmo mrigaheva mrigakritihi. O King Parikshit, as the hunter of a deer becomes like a deer by covering his body with deer skin and serving the deer, so Indra, although at heart the enemy of the sons of Diti, became outwardly friendly and served Diti in a faithful way. Indra's purpose was to cheat Diti as soon as he could find some fault in the way she discharged the vows of ritualistic ceremony. However, he wanted to be undetected and therefore he served her very carefully. नाध्यगच्छत् व्रतः छिद्रं तत्परोऽथ महीपते चिन्तां तीव्रं गतः सक्रः केन मे स्यात् शिवं त्व इह. O master of the entire world, when Indra could find no faults, he thought, how will there be good fortune for me? Thus he was full of deep anxiety. एकदा सा तु सन्ध्यायाम् उच्छिष्टा व्रता कर्षिता अस्पृष्टवारे अधौताङ्गृहे सुष्वाप सुष्वापा विधि मोहिता. Having grown weak and thin because of strictly following the principles of vow, Diti once unfortunately neglected to wash her mouth, hands, and feet after eating, and went to sleep during the evening twilight. लब्ध्वा तत् अन्तरं सक्रो निद्रापहृतचेतसः दिते प्रविष्ट उधरं योगेशो योगमायया. Finding this fault, Indra, who has all the mystic powers, the yoga siddhis such as Anima and Laghima, entered Diti's womb while she was unconscious, being fast asleep. शकर्त सप्तदा गर्भं वज्रेण कनकप्रभं रुदन्तं सप्तधैकैकं मारोडीम् इति तान् पुनः. After entering Diti's womb, Indra, with the help of his thunderbolt, cut into 7 pieces her embryo, which appeared like golden, glowing gold. In 7 places, 7 different living beings began crying. Indra told them, "Do not cry," and then he cut each of them into 7 pieces again. Tam uchu पाठ्यमानास्ते सर्वे प्राञ्जलयो नृपा किं न इन्द्र जिघांससि भ्रातरो मरुतस्तव. O king, being very much aggrieved, they pleaded to Indra with folded hands, saying, "Dear Indra, we are Maruts, your brothers. Why are you trying to kill us? Ma bhaishta bharataro mahyam यूयम् इति आह कौशिकः अनन्य भावान् पार्षदान् आत्मनो मरुतां गणाः. Gana. When Indra saw that actually they were his devoted followers, he said to them, If you are all my brothers, you have nothing more to fear from me. Na mama ditergarbha Srinivasano Kampaya Bahuda Kulisha Kshunno Drauni Astrena Yatha Bhavan. Shukadeva Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, you were burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwathama. But when Lord Krishna entered the womb of your mother, you were saved. Similarly, although the one embryo was cut into 49 pieces by the thunderbolt of Indra, they were all saved by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sakrad Ishtwadi Purusham Purusho Yati Samyatam Samvatsaram Kinchit Unam Ditya Yad Dharir Architaha Sajur Indrena Panchashad देवास्ते मरुतो भवन व्यपोह्य मातृदोषं ते हरिणा सोमपाः कृताः. If one worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original person, even once, he receives the benefits of being promoted to the spiritual world and possessing the same bodily features as Vishnu. Diti worshipped Lord Vishnu for almost 1 year, adhering to a great vow. Because of such strength in spiritual life, the 49 Maruts were born. How then is it wonderful that the Maruts, although born from womb of Diti, became equal to the demigods by the mercy of the Supreme Lord? Titir Utthaya Dadrishe Kumaran Analaprabhan Indrena Sahitan Devi Paryatusyad Anindita. Because of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Diti was completely purified. When she got up from bed, she saw her 49 sons along with Indra. These 49 sons were all as brilliant as fire and were in friendship with Indra, and therefore she was very pleased. Atendram ahatataham adityanam bhavavahan apatyam icchanti acharam vratam etat Sudaksha, Sudukshanam. Thereafter, Diti said to Indra, "My dear son, I adhered to this difficult vow just to get a son to kill you 12 Adityas. एकसङ्कल्पितः पुत्रः सप्त सप्ता भवन् कथं यदि ते विदितं पुत्र सत्यं कथय मामृषा." I prayed for only one son, but now I see that there are 49. How has this happened? My dear son Indra, If you know, please tell me the truth. Do not try to speak lies. Indra uvacha ambateham vyavasitam upadarya gato antikam labdhantaro garbham artha buddhir na dharmadrik. Indra replied, my dear mother, because I was grossly blinded by selfish interest, I lost sight of religion. When I understood that you were observing a great vow in spiritual life, I wanted to find some fault in you. When I found such a fault, I entered your womb and cut the embryo to pieces. Krutva me saptada garbha asan sapta kumarakaha tepi chaikai kaso vruknaha सप्तदानापि ममृते. First, I cut the child in the womb into seven pieces, which became seven children. Then I cut each of the children into seven pieces again. By the grace of the Supreme Lord, however, none of them died. Tatastat paramashraya yeah. Tatastat paramascharya viksha vyavasitam maya mahapurusha pujaya siddhikapi anusangini. My dear mother, when I saw that all 49 sons were alive, I was certainly struck with wonder. I decided that this was a secondary result of your having really regularly executed devotional service in worship of Lord Vishnu. आराधनं भगवन् आराधनं भगवता इहमान निराशिषः ये तु नेच्छन्ति अपि परं ते स्वार्थ कुशला स्मृताः. Although those who are interested only in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not desire anything material from the Lord and do not even want liberation, Lord Krishna fulfills all their desires. आराध्यात्म प्रदम देवम स्वात्मानं जगत ईश्वरं को वृणीत गुणसर्पम स्पर्शम बुधास्यान् नरकेऽपि यत्. The ultimate goal of all ambitions is to become a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If an intelligent man serves the most dear Lord who gives himself to his devotees, how can he desire material happiness which is available even in hell? Tadidam mama daurjanyam balishasya mahiyasi kshantum arhasi matastvam dishya garbho vrutothitaha. O my mother, O best of all women, I am a fool. Kindly excuse me for whatever offenses I have committed. Your 49 sons have been born unhurt because of your devotional service. As an enemy, I cut them to pieces, but because of your great devotional service, they did not die. श्रीशुक उवाच इन्द्रस्तयाभ्यनुज्ञातः शुद्ध भावेन तुष्टया मरुद्भिः सह तां नत्वा जगामत्रि दिवं प्रभुः. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, Diti was extremely satisfied by Indra's good behavior. Then Indra offered his respects to his aunt with profuse obeisances, and with her permission, he went away to the heavenly planets with his brothers, the Maruts. एवं ते सर्वम् आख्यातं यन्मां त्वं परिपृच्छसि मङ्गलं मरुतां जन्म किं भूय कथयामि ते. My dear King Parikshit, I have replied as far as possible to the questions you have asked me, especially in regard to this pure, auspicious narration about the Maruts. Now you may inquire further and I shall explain more. Hare Krishna. Here ends this chapter 18 from the 6th canto of this Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Diti Vows to Kill Indra. Hare Krishna. So, either next, I mean, tomorrow we'll not have class. Either um, we will continue from the next chapter or maybe quickly go through some key purports of what Prabhupada is saying here. Um, before we go to the next chapter. Yeah, thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vrindaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.